Hey y'all, and welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by. First, don't mind my scratchy voice. I have a cold, but we're just powering through it. The second thing is I wanted to let y'all know that I have a mentorship group, and if you are interested in joining, I will leave all of the information down in the description box where you can join. We do some fun lives and giveaways, and the first official exclusive tutorial is going to be released on Monday. So if you are interested, I would love to have you over there. We're a small little group right now, and I would love for you to come join. Okay, now to get into this tumbler. I had this tumbler. It is a 16-ounce travel mug from the Tipsy Magnolia. I've had it for a long time, and I actually ended up stripping it a while ago, so it's just been sitting on my shelf. So I stripped it, sanded it down, and then spray painted it white, so that's why you can kind of see there is a few little rough spots there, but it's okay, it's all going to be covered up. And I spray painted it in white, and then I am taking this Pop of Color lilac paint, and we're just going through the center and just giving it kind of like a rough brushed look. I don't know exactly what this is called, but we're just brushing it on through the center of that upper portion, and then I'm going to let that dry, and then we're going to do the tack it method over the entire thing with this beautiful unicorn glitter from Diamonds and Dust. It's a holographic shift that when you do the tack it method, it's a beautiful finish. I wanted to make sure that I didn't forget to leave a little burst of color on the handle as well, just so it matched with the rest of the tumbler. And after that, I set it aside and let it dry completely, and then we're going to go in and cover the entire tumbler with the tack it glue. At the time I made this, I was still out of Artistic Painting Studios foil glue. I still need to order some. But I covered that entire thing, and then I hit it with my heat gun to dry it, and then I'm going to coat the entire tumbler with the unicorn glitter from Diamonds and Dust. It is this beautiful shifty. It has some purpley pink tones in it, and I thought it would be perfect for this look that I'm going for. So I covered that entire thing, and then I'm going to take my gloved hand and rub it all in on the entire tumbler. After that, I gave it a coat of epoxy, and then I'm going to be going in and adding some foils. So I am coating the entire tumbler again in the tack it glue. You can see right here where I was testing it out a little bit. My original plan was I was going to add foils to the entire tumbler, but once I got started, I really just wanted to focus it on where that paint was. I didn't want to cover up a lot of that white as well. It was so pretty with the shiftiness on it. So I really liked the look of just having it isolated to color in one area. So I added that tacket, dried it with my heat gun, and then I'm going in with this beautiful hot pink foil. It is also from Artistic Painting Studios. I will see if I can find the link to it because it is so pretty and it has such good transfer. I didn't want to completely cover up all this pink, so it has a really good transfer. So I'm just kind of laying it down and pulling it up, and I'm laying it down. You can see not in solid areas, like there's a lot of just kind of grunginess and distress look, which we all know I love, but I didn't want to completely cover up all of that paint, so I just wanted a layer of texture above it. So that was the look I was going for. And then as soon as I'm done with that, I did not do anything else, but I went in immediately with another coat of the tacky glue just over that pink, and we're going to be adding those same holographic hearts that we used in last week's tutorial. I just cut a little strip to go right through that handle, and we are going to add that foil glue, or the tacky glue, heat it with my heat gun again, and then apply these foils and then peel up. The hearts, I've noticed, they are a little bit harder to get really full coverage on those hearts. Some foils are good transfer and some take a little bit more effort. So I really tried hard to make sure I got a good coverage on them. Although I like the look of having them a little bit distressed as well. It goes with the whole look of this tumbler, but I really didn't want to stress too much about it, but I just kind of scratched it with my, or not scratched it, but like pressed it down with my squeegee and then just kind of let it do what it was going to do. There was some that didn't transfer, but it's okay. There was one little section that it didn't transfer very well at all, but I went in and added a little bit more pink, so it just gave it a real distressed, grungy, textured look, and it looks really cool. I really am happy with the way it turned out. It just kind of gave it some layers, and that gave it a lot of dimension, and I think it looks really cool. And I feel like it's a good background for the CUPID'S Brewing Company little decal that we're going to be adding here in the next step. After I was happy with all of that coverage with the foils, I did give it a spray with Rust-Oleum's Clear Glossy Spray Paint just to not have any chance that the tacky glue could repel any of the epoxy. So I let that dry, and then we're going to give it a coat of epoxy, and then we're going to add a little bit sprinkling of some glitters from Diamonds and Dust. While it was still wet, I went in with Waterfalls and Heartbreaker, and I just pitched it in my finger. I've shown you guys this before, and just sprinkled it all over. The Waterfalls give it a really iridescent little something, and the Heartbreaker has these cute tiny little hearts in it. I had to use it because of those heart foils, and it just brought it all together. After that coat of epoxy was dry, I trimmed around this decal that I got from AB Designs Co. And we're just going to place that right in the center on the tumbler, and then we are also going to be adding a cute little drip to this tumbler. Most of my decals from AB Designs Co. I get in a white backed, but this one, because it was black, I didn't feel like I needed to order it in a white backed decal, so I just placed that right on there, and I love that you can see all the little hearts and the pink through the middle of that decal. So I just lined that up the best that I could, and then I cut some of the backing off, placed it down, and then took off the rest of the backing. So pretty much like the hinge method, but for a decal. So after that, I am going to pull out these clay shapes glitter, not even glitter. It's just a bottle that I had gotten at Michael's probably years ago. I've had it forever, but I didn't want all of the colors for what I'm going to be doing, so I poured some out and I just picked out all of the pink hearts, and then we're going to make a drip with puffy paint today. So I literally just poured it out on a piece of paper and hand picked out a ton of pink hearts, enough that I thought it would be a good amount to sprinkle onto our drip. So once I was done with that, I just set those aside, and then I have this puffy 3D paint. I think it came from Hobby Lobby, and we are going to add that to the entire top rim of this tumbler. And the way that I do my drips with puffy paint is I just squeeze it more in some spots and a little less in others, just so it gives it a good drip with different levels of drip, if that makes sense. So I went around the entire tumbler, and then I'm going to hit it just a little bit so it starts to form that drip. And then I am adding all of those little pink hearts by hand, just in different spots. And then I wanted to make sure that it didn't drip too far down. So if it started to drip a little too drippy, I turned the tumbler upside down, and then I just let it sit that way for a little while until it was dry. And then I let the tumbler, when it stopped dripping for the drip, I just let it sit upright on my desk overnight to make sure that that puffy paint was dry. And then I gave it 2 final coats of epoxy, and it was all done. I love all the little heart elements, how well it all went together. And I hope that I have inspired you in some way with this tumbler. You can tell, I know I've said it before, I love adding different textures and elements together, and all the layers with the foil and the paint and then the glitters. It's just my love language, I guess. But this one is available on my website as usual, and I hope that you love this as much as I loved working on it. And I appreciate all of you guys being here so much. It means so much to me, all of your love and support. And I will be back again next week with another tutorial for you, possibly another Valentine's Day. But I will see y'all then. Bye, y'all.